કેવું છે?
Supreme offering, Argya. When a soul acquires the proper perception of reality and enjoys self realization, even for a moment, it sheds the dirt of delusion and irrationalism. Then the soul gives up passions of anger, pride, intrigue, and greed, and drinks the nectar of spiritual happiness. The state of supreme bliss emerges, and the radiant sun of omniscient science. These are the consequences of absolute rational perception. The soul becomes Arhant, the supreme human being. O Prabhu, I make this offering of Arghya, the combination of water, sandalwood, rice, flour, rich food, lamp, incense, and fruit, with the determination of revealing the pristine attributes of my soul and of attaining the supreme Arhant state like you.
હવે કોઈને એક સ્તવન ગાવું હોય તો દીપ્તિબેન. અચ્છા, હે દીપ્તિ, અચ્છા, ઓકે. હા.
Dipti is going to sing, and whoever so wants to do the garba. So, આવો રે આવો મહાવીર નામ લઈએ.
તમારે ડાન્સ કરવો હોય તો વિવેક.
રે આવો.
મહાવીર નામ લઈએ. આવો રે
ગરબા ને બધા લખ્યા ચાલુ છે જો લાઈવ યુટ્યુબ पे ઝૂમ पे
ચાલુ છે ટાઈમ લી થયો તો
ગરમ
I'm not able to, like, I look a bit outside and try to hear, and I'm not able to hear very well.
वीर प्रभु कोई क्रोध नहीं करी, वीर प्रभु कोई क्रोध नहीं करी, शीतल शांत चंदन बनी जय, शीतल शांत चंदन बनी जय, वीर आओ रे आओ, आओ रे आओ, महावीर नाम लेंगे, आओ रे आओ, महावीर नाम लेंगे, वीर नाम
वो ऑटोमेटिक तुम आगे से आवाज भी बंद कर दो, म्यूट नहीं किया इसको।
नहीं वो तो
करो, नहीं है तुम।
ઓકે ઓકે હવે ચાલુ કરીએ છીએ પાછું આપણે દેવ ગુરુ શાસ્ત્ર ની ભક્તિ કરશું આપણે પહેલા દેવ ભક્તિ
No, we are running out of time, sir.
પૂરો થયો જય માં જય માં
None of you will. Fiona.
भवन में जी पर घूम चुका कण कण को भी भर देखा मृग सम मृग ध्वज के पीछे मुझको न देखा। झूठे जग के सपने सारे બાર ભાવના બધાને ખ્યાલ હશે બાર ભાવનાની બધાને ખ્યાલ હશે કે એકત્વ ભાવના અન્યત્વ ભાવના અશુચિ ભાવના બધી જે 12 પ્રકારની ભાવનાઓ છે એનું અહીંયા વર્ણન એક પછી એક આવ્યું હતું. હવે આપણે દેવશાસ્ત્ર ગુરુની ભક્તિ કરવા જઈ રહ્યા છીએ. ચરણો મેં આયા હું પ્રભુવર, शीतलता मुझको मिल जाए, मुरझाई ज्ञान लता मेरी, निज अंतर बल से खिल जावे. सोचा करता हूँ भोगों से बुझ जावेगी क्या ज्वाला, परिणाम निकलता है मानो पावक में डाला. तेरे चरणों की पूजा से इंद्रिय सुख की अभिलाषा अब तक न समझ पाया, सच्चे सुख की भी परिभाषा. तुम तो अधिकारी हो प्रभु, जग में रहते जग से न्यारे, अतएव के सब चरणों में जग के माणिक मोती सारे. अच्छा ના બાજી એક મિનિટ. હા ભલે ઓકે. તો આ દેવની સ્તુતિ થઈ અને એમાં શું કે છે કે સોચા કરતા હું ભોગો છે બુજ જાયેગી ઈચ્છા જ્વાલા. આપણને એમ લાગે કે ભોગની ઈચ્છા થઈ, એ ઈચ્છાને પૂર્ણ કરીને ભોગ લેશું તો ઈચ્છા ખતમ થઈ જશે, પણ એવું થતું નથી. એના માટે બહુ સરસ એક્ઝામ્પલ આપેલ છે કે જેવી રીતે અગ્નિની ઈચ્છા છે કે વધારે ઘી જોઈએ, ઘી જોઈએ, ઘી જોઈએ, અને જેમ જેમ વધારે ઘી નાખો તેમ અગ્નિ વધારે પ્રજ્વલિત થશે પણ શાંત નહીં થાય. તો હવે શાસ્ત્રની વાત કરીએ છીએ. ભક્તિ સ્યાદવાદમયી તેરી વાણી, શુભ નય કે જરણે કરતે हैं, પાવન નૌકા પરલા. એટલે જે સ્યાદવાદમય જે આગમ છે આપણું જે શાસ્ત્ર છે, એ શાસ્ત્ર એનાથી એની એક પાવન નૌકા, ઇટ્સ લાઈક એ બોટ where you can go across the ocean.
Geetaben is going to sing the next, few lines. Hey, Guru Varasa.
शाश्वत सुख दर्शक स्वरूप तुम्हारा है, जग की नश्वर का सच्चा एक दर्शन करने वाला है. जब जग विषयों में रच बच कर
शास्त्र गुरुभ्यो अनर्घ पद प्राप्ते भावार्घ्यम कृपामिति स्वाहा. हे निर्मल देव तुम्हें प्रणाम है, ज्ञान दीप आगम प्रणाम, हे शांति त्याग के मूर्तिमान, शिव पद पंथी गुरुवर प्रणाम। भाव पुष्पांजलि क्षिपामि। चलो डालो તો હવે આ થયું દેવગુરુ શાસ્ત્રનું. હવે મહાઅર્ઘ્ય.
We'll skip one page and go to Maha-Arghya.
ડુપ્લિકેટ છે. अच्छा.
आत्म चेतन हूँ, इस जग से न्यारा हूँ, शुद्धात्म चेतन हूँ, इस जग से न्यारा हूँ, मैं नित्य निरंजन हूँ, सब जानन हारा हूँ, मैं नित्य निरंजन हूँ, सब जानन हारा हूँ, मैं ज्ञाता द्रष्टा हूँ, चेतन चिद्रूपी हूँ, मैं चेतन चिद्रूपी हूँ, मैं सिद्ध स्वरूपी हूँ, मैं अमल अखंड अतुल अविकल अविनाशी हूँ, अविकारी मैं तो उजियारा हूँ, मैं नित्य निरंजन हूँ, सब जानन हारा।
Understanding through but finding criteria.
उषा आ गई है, उषा आ गई है, सेकंड करेगी
वो करे फिर
चेतन में भटक में भटका हूँ जो गति में जो गति में अटका हूँ शुभ अशुभ विभाग किए आज सब लोग भव भव में दुख पाया 84 लाख भटक थक थक के हारा 84 लाख भटक थक थक के हारा मैं निरंजन दातम चेतन सारी पदरी काली सब कितनी से आए दिया
Huh? I need him to go on near that front window. Uh-huh. One of the windows are falling out. Falling out means? Harman, something wrong in the window. The lady come to call you. Well, you put the window in the truck, right?
ज्योति जिसमें चमके मैं अनुभव ज्योति जिसमें चमके सुदातम चेतन इस जग से मैं सब जानता मैं सब जान
ઓકે હવે બે બાકી છે મહાઅર્ઘ્ય मैं देव श्री अरहंत पूजू सिद्ध पूजू चावसा आचार्य श्री उपजाय पूजू साधु पूजू भावस अरहंत भाषित वैन पूज द्वादशांगर हित सब आसान सर्वज्ञ भाषित धर्म दशि दयामय सदा जति पावना षोडश रत्न या विनाशी त्रैलोक्य के कृत्रिम चैत्य चैत्यालय पंचमे स्वरजिनालय अजर सुर पूजित भजन कैलास श्री संतेत सदा बापुरी जो सबसे किनारे पूजूं सके नामावली पति शिव के पति शिव जलगंधाक्षत पुष्प चरु दीप धूप फल लाय सर्व पूज्य पद पूजहूँ विधि भक्ति परा शांति पाठ बहुत सरस हरिगीत में छे तमे गाई सको छो। शास्त्रोक्त विधि पूजा महोत्सव सुरपति चक्री करे हम सारी के लघु पुरुष कैसे विधि पूजा करे धन क्रिया ज्ञान सहित न जाने प्रीत पूजन नाथ जी हम भक्त तुम चरण
You don't do that anymore. Yeah, so if you go down to, you know where Save Love is, right next to it. Okay, right here. Thank you. Have a good day.
तुम सारी के दातार काज लग जाऊंगा मुझे आप समकाल यही एक वांछा संसार भीषण बिन देव कर्म मिल आता पियो इस दाहते आकुल शांति सलख सुनाले तुम मिले शांति स्वरूप शांति तुकार समर्थ पतु कर्म मेरे शांत कर दो अंतमय पंचम गति जब नो नहीं शिव नो पावना सत्संग सुधा चरण सुतयास आत्म भावन तुम भी नंतानंद काल गयो रुलत जग जाल अब चरण
Sila. Victoria Sila, I think. And then
कर प्रमाण के मानते गगनन पे की बन द्यो तुम गुणवर्णन कर कवि पामे एक बात तो मिया कहूं छू बीजी सेकंड कड़ी में छे जुओ ध्यान रखवा जेवुं छे तुम सारी के दातार पाए काज लगू जाचू कहाँ हे भगवान तमे त्रण भुवनना नाथ एवा तमे मळ्या छो तो नानी चीज शू मांगू मुझ आप समका लेहु स्वामी यही एक वांछा मा मने बस तमारा जेवो बनावी दो बीजू काई मने जोईतुं नथी वाह वाह હવે વિસર્જનમ છે આપણે વિસર્જન કરીએ છીએ કાંઈ આપણી ભૂલ થઈ ગઈ હોય તો ક્ષમા માટે
And all sing together.
બહુ સરસ અનુષ્ટુપ રાગમાં છે સંસ્કૃતમાં છે પણ બહુ સરસ છે જ્ઞાન તો વાપી શાસ્ત્રોક્તમ ન કૃતમ મયા तत्सर्वं पूर्णमेवास्तु प्रसादाजिनेश्वर आवानं नैव जानामि पूजनं सर्जनं क्षमा मंत्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं द्रव्यहीनं तथैव च तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव रक्ष
Oh, yeah. No, I get it. Okay, so.
Yeah, that's why we.
जयति
मैंने कीधું છે કે તું વેઇટ કરશે
જય જિનેન્દ્ર આ પૂજા
તમે જાઓ હવે
કરતા
મને લઈ લઉં છું
બોલતા કંઈ પણ ભૂલ થઈ હોય તો એના માટે હું ઈચ્છામી દુઃખ
મારે ફોન નથી વાગતો એટલે જ.
$7.
Give me your phone. 860.
Start a strip.
45 minutes. Less. That's how I
ઓકે હવે બધા પોતાના ધ્યાનમાં નવકાર મંત્ર બોલી લ્યો.
Oh, yes.
નમો હરિયંદાણમ નમો સિદ્ધાણમ નમો હરિયાણમ નમો ઉજાય નમો લોહી સૌસાવણમ નમો હરિયંદાણમ નમો સિદ્ધાણમ નમો હરિયાણમ નમો ઉજાય નમો લોહી સૌસાવણમ નમો હરિયંદાણમ નમો સિદ્ધાણમ નમો હરિયાણમ નમો ઉજાયણમ નમો લોહી સૌસાવણમ નમો હરિયંદાણમ નમો સિદ્ધાણમ નમો હરિયાણમ નમો ઉજાયણમ નમો લોહી સૌસાવણમ નમો હરિયંદાણમ નમો સિદ્ધાણમ નમો હરિયાણમ નમો ઉજાયણમ નમો લોહી સૌસાવણમ નમો હરિયંદાણમ નમો સિદ્ધાણમ નમો હરિયાણમ નમો ઉજાયણમ નમો લોહી સૌસાવણમ
This island set, this island and the cabinet and the countertop is $1,000.
You want me to put that on there?
Yeah, I have to print this one.
Okay. I'm walking that way anyway. So this right here is 1,000.
$9.99. No, I have to put the print color paper in. Just put the two, any color two paper.
Jai Janindra.
You put it?
Yeah. This is 99.
We started with spirituality.
400 right
Can you hear
there.
me all right?
Put the 00.
Started with spirituality
We'll take
because
that.
that's where
We'll
he
take
would
that
have
dot,
to
that
start.
dot out.
But
He was also
no
of
dot.
the earth, and we
No
want
dot.
to use
Okay,
this 90
perfect.
minutes to pay tribute to him through stories. And we're going to do that in a few different ways by hearing from
Good afternoon,
close
Express.
family members who are going to step up and share their stories. Sheila's prepared a
No,
slideshow, so
nah.
we're going to bring images of him
You
into
want
the
to get
room.
transferred over there?
We're going to give you a chance to maybe put your name into a hat and see if we can get
Well,
a
the
few stories
showroom
from the
is.
crowd into the mix. Before we jump into that, we want to transition from the spiritual to the body with a ritual he liked to do.
Chris not there.
Chris is not there.
Maru, Usha.
He not answer phone. He not answer transfer. Not answer.
Oh, no, somebody's actually there knocking on the door. The door is locked. So they're closed today?
Must be closed. I don't know. Tell him must be there.
બોલો બોલો શ્રી મહાવીર ભગવાનનો
Ah.
શ્રી પરમ
તમે
પૂજ્ય
કયું?
ભગવતી માતાનો
તમે
પરમ
કયું
ગુરુ
કઈ
શ્રી
કમ્પ્યુટરમાં?
ગુરુદેવનો સનાતન દિગંબર જૈન ધર્મનો.
I think the other, first of all, thank you to every one of you for being here with us. It means so much to have your presence at this moment in this space. And the space is significant because we are at the Jain Center of Connecticut, and my dad co-founded the Jain Center of Connecticut. And back then we didn't have a space. It was like we
That's
would
why I
be in
asked
a
you,
living
you want to
room over
wait?
here, and then
Then I can
someone
wait.
else's living
Wait
room the
1
next
hour,
month,
then
and
we
then
can
maybe
fix it for you.
the basement of the public library the next month. We were rotating, and now we are able to
Yeah,
gather in
but
this
we
beautiful
do Monday
space.
evening,
And
but
so
if you have
to welcome
emergency,
us
we
here, I don't know
can
if
fix
Jignesh
it.
Bhai is in the room.
That's how
I
you
think
come back for the
we're gonna
money
ask you,
back.
Jignesh
That's
Bhai,
so
just
then
to
we
say a
can
word of
do that one, but you say no.
welcome if you'd like to the space itself.
He has to, but because today Windowman not coming, but my other guys can do that one. That's why we told you, we asked you. because this is especially for the window man. We need it,
Jai Janendra, everyone.
but he don't work at it.
First of all, on behalf of Jain Center of Connecticut, sincere condolences to the Maru family.
શું છે શૈલેષ?
Talking about Hans Maru,
$23 ચાર્જ કર્યા?
as you mentioned, he was one of the founders of Jain Center.
Oh, glass જોવે છે.
And he was a true leader. He was not only a source of inspiration for the entire community, but
They can
for
see
all of
us or they cannot see us.
for all of us. There are really
Oh my God, where did you put
stories I've
that
heard
one?
from people in the community, and just want to share a couple of them. Many remember Hans uncle.
Right, exactly. You put
Generations of children who learned about Jain Center of Jain Dharma,
My printer works
JCC,
on this one.
and also many
Sir,
adults
where is it?
have taken really inspiration from their Swadhyaya.
Or
He
six.
served as a
Five
father
o'clock.
figure to our members in their struggles and
Just
doubts in
make
everyday
up
life as well. I think together with Usha auntie, they spent countless hours preparing kids, practicing skits and prayers at Mahavijayanti, aiming for them to absorb the meaning and
Hold
bhav
on for
of
one
every
moment. Let me try
line,
this person's cell phone. Hold on.
and then practicing to deliver in perfection, always with a patient smile.
Is
So again,
anybody
the
there
entire
today?
JCC community
Who about that?
feels this loss, but will cherish the memory and always remember him for many generations to come.
Mama, you need a piece of glass.
Thank
You
you,
need a piece
Jignesh
of
Bhai.
glass.
Vice President
Okay,
of the
just
Jain
give it
Center
to
of
me.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
We had Dad's birthday party here a year ago. Birthday party / puja a year ago. Chin was mentioning a ritual. My father loved to do laughing meditation. That was one of his favorite things. So we wanted to do that together as we get started. So I would just ask everyone, this is the way it's going to work. We're going to inhale deeply.
Yeah.
And then we are going to laugh out loud
Yes.
together. Sound good? Okay. Ready? Deep inhale. Keep going. That's good to get the laughs out. Thanks, you guys. So the first people we want to ask to step up are my father's. Okay, yes. Let's look at some images first. So cue the slideshow.
Hari Hari Vasundhara Neela Neela ye gagan Neela Neela ye gagan हरी हरी वसुंधरा पे नीला नीला ये गगन से बादलों की पालकी उड़ा रहा पवन दिशाएं देखो रंग भरी दिशाएं देखो रंग भरी चमक रही उमंग भरी ये किसने फूल फूल पे किसने फूल फूल पे किया सिंगार है ये कौन चित्रकार है ये कौन चित्रकार ये कौन चित्रकार है तपस्वियों सी है अटल ये पर्वतों की चोटियां, घेरदार घेरदार घाटियां, ध्वजा से ये खड़े हुए, ध्वजा से ये खड़े हुए हैं वृक्ष देवदार के, गलीचे ये गुलाब के, बगीचे ये बहार के। कवि की कल्पना, ये किस कवि की कल्पना का चमत्कार है। ये कौन चित्रकार है, ये कौन चित्रकार, ये कौन चित्रकार है। इस पवित्रता को तुम निहार लो, गुणों को अपने मन में तुम उतार लो। चमका लो आज लालिमाओ, चमका लो आज लालिमाओ अपने ललाट की, कण कण से झांकती तुम्हें सभी विराट की। अपनी तो आंख एक है, अपनी तो आंख एक है, उसकी हजार है। ये कौन चित्रकार है, ये कौन चित्रकार, ये कौन चित्रकार है।
Okay, I'm asking for Dad's siblings to come share something with us. Okay.
જય જિનેન્દ્ર. કનેક્ટિકટ જૈન સેન્ટરના સર્વે ભાઈઓ તથા બહેનો, હું વસુંધરા જગદીશ મામણિયા, હંસભાઈની બેન, ઇન્ડિયાથી બોલું છું. હંસભાઈ વિશે શું કહું? મારી નજરમાં તો ભાઈ એક મહાત્મા પુરુષ હતા અને સદાય રહેશે. તેમનું જીવન ખૂબ જ પ્રેરણાદાયક હતું. તેઓ આઈઆઈટીની કેમિકલ એન્જિનિયરિંગ એક્ઝામમાં ઓલ ઓવર ઇન્ડિયામાં સેકન્ડ આવ્યા હતા. આવી તો અનેક સિદ્ધિઓ એમણે મેળવી હતી. જ્યારે બા અમેરિકા જવાની રજા નહોતા આપતા ત્યારે ભાઈએ ગાંધીજીની જેમ હું પણ પ્રતિજ્ઞા પાડીશ એવું વચન આપ્યું હતું. એમના જીવનમાં અનીતિનું નામો નિશાન નહોતું. એનું ઉત્કૃષ્ટ ઉદાહરણ અમેરિકાથી લાવેલ ઇલેક્ટ્રોનિક આઇટમની કસ્ટમ ડ્યુટી સામે ચાલીને ભરી હતી. 2007માં શીલા અને ડંકનના ગેટ ટુગેધરમાં લાલ રાંભિયાની ટીમ સાથે કચ્છી નૃત્ય ગરજીઓનું વર્કશોપ રાખ્યું, જેમાં વડીલોને બદલે ખાસ ફેમિલી યંગસ્ટરોને બોલાવ્યા હતા. ભાઈનો જન્મ રામ નવમીના દિવસે થયો હતો. બાની નજરમાં તેઓ હંમેશા રામ જ રહ્યા હતા અને સંપૂર્ણ જીવન રામ જેવું જીવ્યા અને ઉષા ભાભીએ પણ તેમને સીતાની જેમ સાથ આપ્યો અને તેઓ અમને દરરોજ તત્વજ્ઞાન પીરસી રહ્યા છે. ભાઈનો જૈન ધર્મ પ્રત્યેનો ઊંડો અભ્યાસ અને ગહન ચિંતન હતું. એવા એ મહાત્મા પુરુષને હું ભાવપૂર્વક શ્રદ્ધાંજલિ અર્પણ કરું છું. જય જિનેન્દ્ર.
मिठा मल्या ने नैण खिल्या खिल जा उड्या फुआरा दिल से ता दिल दरिया दरख्या मुरकई अबजी तारा. When loved one meet, their eyes twinkle and fountains of laughter erupts, like we all laughed today. Hansraj embodied this Kutchi poem throughout his life, always bringing joy wherever he went and whoever he met. Hansraj moved to America when I was just 5 years old. Although 20 years and 8,000 miles separated us, we never felt distant. He wrote such beautiful letters, a paragraph for each family member, and we would eagerly wait for one. Growing up, our mom taught us to increase our internal qualities with our Jain values, and you all saw how Hansraj always lived our mother's teaching. I got to live with Hansraj after I came to US for almost 18 months. And two things stuck in my mind. One thing, that doesn't matter how high he achieved in his professional career, but he never brought work home. He was always there for his family when he was home. Another thing which stuck, and I still remember one day we were all sitting and he told Chintan to go and get a cereal box. Chintan went and he came back there. So Hansraj went there and he got the cereal box and he said, well, no wonder why you couldn't find it. Because I behind this box. So you can imagine his positivity, which naturally normal parent would say, well, why can't you find it? It's right there. I told you where to go. But that's, was Hansraj, and we all bow down to, and we wish we can follow his values.
હંસરાજ એ નામ જ એટલું બધું આપણને કહી જાય છે. હંસોના રાજ, હંસનો ખોરાક આપણે જેને કહીએ, એક તો માન સરોવરમાં રહે, મોતીનો ચારો પોતે કરે. એમણે આખું જીવન એ રીતે વિતાવ્યું, પણ આપણને પણ એ શીખ આપતા ગયા કે આ જીવનને સાર્થક કઈ રીતે કરવું. આઈ હોપ વી ઓલ કેરી ફોરવર્ડ ધેટ મિસાલ એમણે જે અહીંયા જગાવી છે. જય જિનેન્દ્ર.
Jai Jinendra. I'm Mahendra, younger brother of Hansraj, live in Kentucky. All my life I have known my brother, and the name Hansraj. Hans is a symbol of purity, Suddha and Nirmalta. And Hansraj to Hansna pan Raja hata. He was a very, very pure soul, and we have learned a whole lot from his life. Hans was a scientist. He was a chemical engineer, PhD and all that. And he was a scientist. And, I was thinking, where did he get and how he became what he was? And the answer that I found myself was he was raised by a mother who was able to do what Hansraj Bhai used to say, that if my mother had resources, she would have been PhD herself, even though she only studied till 3rd standard, but later on in her life, she was an avid reader and read lots and lots of books. And of course, she studied a lot of Jain scriptures as well. And she taught herself as well as she taught Hansbai as well as all of us children. And she made sure that all her children had good enough resources to study to the highest level possible that they can achieve to their ability. She taught Hansraj Bhai and her children to live her life honestly and with dignity. Never ever Hans Bhai or any of us felt that we need more material things in our life, and we were taught to follow the Jainism to the purest, utmost level possible. And that is where all the virtues trickle down in Hans as well. And I would say that we would follow the path that our Bhai and Hans Bhai taught us. And that would be the real tribute to Hans Bhai. Jai Jinendra.
હેલો, માય નેમ ઇઝ નલિની અને ભાઈના માટે હું શું કહું. ભાઈનો ગુણ જ એવા હતા કે એનો આપણે વચનથી આપણે કહેવા જઈએ તો એના ગુણ કહેવાતા જ નથી, એટલા બધા ગુણી હતા. એક વખત ગાંધીજી ટીચરે કીધું કે તમે એક લેટર લખો કે માં ઉપર લેટર લખો. તો બધા છોકરાઓ ચોપડા ભરી ભરીને પાના ભરી ભરીને લેટર લખે છે કે માં આવી હોય, માં આવી હોય. તો ગાંધીજીએ તો આખું કોરું પાનું રાખ્યું. માં એટલે શું? માં એટલે માં, જેને આપણે શું કહેવાય. તો ભાઈ પણ એવા જ હતા કે એના ગુણો એટલા બધા હતા કે એમના આપણે કહી ન શકાય એવા વ્યક્તિ જે પોતે જીવીને બતાવ્યું આપણને. તો જેવી રીતે હું કહું કે એમનું નામ જ હતું કે હંસરાજ, તો એ હંસના ગુણ કેવા છે કે એ પોતે પાણી અને દૂધને અલગ કરીને પી શકે છે. એવી રીતે ભાઈ પણ પોતાની જિંદગીમાં શરીર અને આત્માને અલગ કરી અને આપણને જીવી બતાવ્યું છે. તો એ જ આપણે એના ગુણો ફોલો કરીને પોતાના આત્માને પણ આપણે પામી શકીએ એવી અમારી ભાવના છે.
જય જિનેન્દ્ર. હું હરકચંદ, 3rd brother from the top. તો હમણાં વાત કરી, મહેન્દ્રભાઈએ પણ વાત કરી કે જે પ્યોરિટીની વાત કરી, નલિનીએ પણ વાત કરી. તો એક મુક્તક મને આ હાથમાં આવ્યું તો હું વાંચી સંભળાવું છું. સાંભળજો ધ્યાનથી. મધદરિયે ઊભા દેખાય તોય જળનો સ્પર્શ ન થાય, એવી સ્થિતિ પ્રગટ થાય એને સતજ્ઞાની કહેવાય. તારે બીજું વાંચવું છે? રાગ આગ લાગે નાગ સમાન, કશાય ભાવ નવ દેખાય, અભેદ જેણે ગ્રહણ કર્યો તેને સતજ્ઞાની કહેવાય. સ્વાધ્યાય જમણ જ્યાં જમાય, વિકલ્પ દેશ દૂર થઈ જાય, ઉદાસ સહજ જગમાં દેખાય તેને સતજ્ઞાની કહેવાય. તો આવા સતજ્ઞાની મારા ભાઈ હતા, અમારા માટે તો પિતા તુલ્ય હતા. એમનું ઋણ તો અમે કોઈ દિવસ ચૂકવી શકીએ એમ છીએ જ નહીં. પણ જે પણ અમારી જેમ મહેન્દ્રે કહ્યું તેમ કે એમના બતાવેલા રસ્તા ઉપર અમે ચાલીએ, પોતાની મુક્તિને પ્રાપ્ત કરીએ એવી ભાવના. જય જીનેન્દ્ર.
ભાઈ હંસરાજભાઈ અમારા રોલ મોડેલ હતા કે અમારા માટે એક ફેમિલીના આઇકોન હતા. અમારે એમને મારી હૃદયપૂર્વકની ખૂબ પ્રેમ સરોવર શ્રદ્ધા સુમન અર્પિત એમની શ્રદ્ધાંજલિ માટે. પણ એ અમારા જીવનમાંથી ગયા નથી. જ્યારે દૂર પણ રહેતા હતા ને ત્યારે પણ કનેક્ટેડ જ હતા અને હજી પણ કનેક્ટેડ. એમના ગુણો એ કદી પણ દૂર તો જઈ જ નહીં શકે. અને ભાઈ, this is a big void in our family. અને આ ઇટ ઇઝ ઇરરિપેરેબલ. કોઈ પણ દિવસ આ રિપેર થઈ શકે એવું પોસિબલ જ નથી. એવી ખોટ છે. છતાં પણ એમના ગુણોની સુવાસ અમારી સાથે હંમેશા જ રહેશે. And whoever he has touched, whoever's life will feel the same. તમે બધા પણ આજે એવું જ ફીલ કરતા હશો. આઈ એમ શ્યોર અબાઉટ ઇટ. આપ સૌ જાણો છો એક લીડરશિપની ક્વોલિટીઝ હી ઓડ એ પોતે ધરાવતા હતા. એમનામાં ક્ષમતા, સબર અને છતાં પણ એક ફાઇટરનું સ્પિરિટ હતું. ગમે એવી પરિસ્થિતિમાં પોતે અને પોતાના આખા કુટુંબીજનોને બધાને જ એમણે ઉપર ઉઠાવ્યા છે. અને એમને મારા કોટી કોટી વંદન. આ પછી હરખે કીધું એમ સ્વાધ્યાયનું જે ઘરમાં જમાય છે ત્યાં આનંદના ફુવારા જ ઉડે. આજે પાછળ અમારા પૂજ્ય ભાભી પણ સ્વાધ્યાયનું જમણ જમાડે છે અમને. સવાર પડે અને જે રીતે ત્યાં એ ઘરમાં એક આત્મચિંતનનો ફુવારાઓ ઉડે છે ત્યાં દુઃખ સ્પર્શી જ ન શકે. આપ સૌને આભાર અને કોટી કોટી વંદન. ભાઈ અમારી સાથે જ છે. જય જિનેન્દ્ર.
હાજી, બધાએ ભાઈના ગુણોના તો ઘણા બધા વર્ણન કર્યા, એટલે હું ભાઈના ગુણોમાં જતો નથી. ગુણો તો અનંત છે. પણ એક નાનકડી સ્ટોરી કહું કે 1968માં ભાઈ અમેરિકા આવ્યા. ના ના બરાબર છે. 1968માં ભાઈ અમેરિકા આવ્યા અને 1971માં હું ત્યાં ગ્રેજ્યુએટ થયો અને ભાઈએ કહ્યું કે તું અમેરિકા આવી જા. મેં કહ્યું ભાઈ મારે અમેરિકા નથી આવવું. હું અમેરિકા આવીશ તો પાછળ ઘણા બધા નાના ભાઈ બહેનો છે, બધાને મારી જેમ જ રખડવું પડશે. તો હું રહી ગયો ત્યાં. 75માં હરકચંદ ગ્રેજ્યુએટ થયો. એને કહ્યું કે ભાઈ અમેરિકા આવી જા, તું સારું થશે. તો એને પણ મન થયું નહીં. 81 કે 82માં મહેન્દ્ર ગ્રેજ્યુએટ થયો. એને પણ અમેરિકા આવવાનું કહ્યું, પણ એને પણ મન થયું નહીં. ત્યાં દવાખાનું કરીને બેસી ગયા. ભાઈ 82માં અમને કયા વગર અમારા ગ્રીન કાર્ડની એપ્લિકેશન કરી નાખી. અમને ખબર જ નહોતી 1990 સુધી. 1990માં જ્યારે હવે અમારો નંબર આવવાનો હતો ત્યારે અમને કહ્યું કે અમને અરજી તો તમને તમારી 8 વર્ષ પહેલા કરી નાખી છે. હવે તમે એકવાર ફરીને ચાલ્યા જાઓ ભલે, પણ એકવાર આવી જજો. એટલે અમે એકવાર 6 મહિનાનું ભાથું બાંધીને અમેરિકા આવ્યા હતા અને 6 મહિનાને આજે 32 વર્ષ થઈ ગયા. આજે પણ અહીંયા છે. બસ આટલું.
હું જય જિનેન્દ્ર, હું જયા બોલું છું. હવે ભાઈના
Okay, so you cannot describe the legends by words, and if I say anything, I'll repeat what everybody has said. For me, I came in 1982 at a very early age, and for me, He was the Tumi ho Mata, Chapita Tumi ho Bandhu, or Tumi ho Sati Tumare, Roi Apna Bina Tumare. So I just grew up in his tutelage and I think there is no word to describe him. So what I do is
Ma'am, thank you.
I think there is no word to describe him.
And close
So
for
what
now.
I do is
Ma'am, thank you.
I'm happy. So I went. What happened? There was nothing happy about. He was just preparing the way for Mr. Labati, who's here.
GPT, if I record separate universes, I'll never find out.
Maybe not. But some may know, right? Reports. All of my life is now going to be built on a lie.
Don't do this. Change is the same path. Do not open this door. Sexy. Steve said Johnny.
None of us ever saw a
non-smiling face, ever having a
Jai Jinendra, everyone. I can see people are standing, and I can see the outpour love for him, this hall being full till the last chair. I will say the same thing, that if I keep repeating, and we can until midnight, won't be over. The with my Banevi. She was more than what my dad took care of it. She was everything for him. She was Hopkins University, runs his own nonprofit organization, helping people who doesn't have health care, and a lot of other projects, which I'm really proud of. My Shilu Bilu, my Banevi's heart was beating in her. You were his strength when he needed physical and mental. And Duncan was your partner, as Hans Bernia was Usha's partner. Always there. My Vivek, if anybody can write a book, I can write a book on my Vivek. Till today, 51 less in 50. Last 30 years, people must be taking Europe vacations and bragging on the Facebook and putting the pictures. My Vivek is working. Nepal and many countries in Africa. I am so proud of his legacy. This is what he has taught my Vivek. How can you be not bhav-purvak or rag-purvak remember? And with rag, I have rag for him. I will share with you guys. वैज बाई के दीपक थे, वैज बाई के दीपक थे, मणि और रतनशी के पुत्र समान थे, विवेक के वो अद्धा थे, डंकन शीला और चिंतन के डैडी थे, उषा वे हंस थे, पर वो परिवार के हर बच्चे के विशेष थे, विशेष थे। जयंती हरक और महन के मार्गदर्शक थे, ज्योति और वसुंधरा के वीर थे, और उषा के वे हंस थे, हंस थे। पर वो तो अतुल, अनिल और अनिल के भी बहुत विशेष थे। फ्यूल सेल के डॉक्टर थे, फ्यूल सेल कोमल थे, पर विचारों के महान थे। पल पल हर दिन पल पल हर दिन जीवन ऐसे जी गए जिससे परिवार और समाज के आदरणीय मिसाल थे, आदरणीय मिसाल थे। हम आपके सिद्धांतों पे चलते रहें, हम आपके सिद्धांतों पे चलते रहें, हम समता और सहजता से जीवन भरते रहें। उषा की ज्ञान लालिमा, उषा की ज्ञान लालिमा और हंस की निर्मलता को अपना कर निश्चिन आपको श्रद्धांजलि अर्पण करते रहें, अर्पण करते रहें। वे उषा के हंस थे पर परिवार और बच्चे के विशेष थे। I know we have been given limited time, but right now I can't stop saying one more thing. My sister, I am so proud of her. I'm gonna be not walking your path, but I'm gonna be admiring you forever. 5 a.m. she woke up and 11 p.m. she slept. Not a single day, single word, single sentence she said that she is tired or she is worried or she is in pain. She was with Hans and she was in bliss every single day for last so many years. Love you, Usha Deep. Love you all, guys.
Hey, our brother from different parents. He was our friend from different age. He was our guru without any ashram. He was never late when somebody needed help. He was always there. He loved education. He loved religion. He loved arts. He supported his teachers. I went to Kutch after coming to America. Maneklal Master asked, Hansraj came che. He was a student. I'm proud to be from the same generation. Schools. He was a Matunga boarding, Nawavas boarding student. And they were always talking about him. Okay, how is Hansraj? I'm from Mahavir Jain Vidyalaya. Everybody knew who the Hansraj was. And people from his engineering school, as well as from the other institute, the Bidra Sarodaya Trust, Bidra Higher Education people, they all remember that, are you connected with Hansraj? Yes, we proudly say that, yes, we are connected with Hansraj. He touched so many lives and so much support from the family. Usha Ben, Chokrao, they never questioned what he was doing. They always with him. Everybody was welcome at that place. We'll miss him. God bless his soul. Thank you.
Jai Janendra, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Kunal Rambia, and Hansraj Maru is my masa. Today we've heard and will continue to hear about where he came from, what he accomplished, what he overcame, and what he leaves behind. I'm looking forward to, I've enjoyed so far and looking forward to hearing those stories. But I won't be able to really talk much about those things. I can't tell you about his upbringing because I wasn't there and I had a totally different upbringing. I can't tell you about his career accomplishments because I really don't understand what he meant to that field of a fuel cell and what significance that was for the folks that are expert in those fields. I can't really tell you about how resilient he was to Parkinson's disease and all of the health effects that followed, because we just got to see a sliver of that. We didn't see the day-to-day. And I really can't talk about his legacy because it's still being written by his children and his grandchildren. What I would like to remember is the person. Who here hasn't been met with a smile from Hans Masa? Who here remembers that twinkle in his eye when he looked at you? Who here felt safe and comfortable in his presence? Who here has been encouraged by him without judgment? And to paraphrase John F. Kennedy, it doesn't matter to me so much that he was a great man. It matters to me that he was a good man. He lived his life in a way that was worth emulating. He was kind, he was firm, he was honest, he was generous and playful, and I'll miss his sense of humor, his warmth, his love for music and art, and his steadying presence. I was sitting at home trying to think about how to best honor Hans Maru's life, and I realized that I don't have to do anything grand or extraordinary. I just have to be a good person, treat others with respect, love, and kindness, and I will have honored his memory and what he stood for. He made our lives better, and I'm grateful that our souls connected in this lifetime. Jai Janendra.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Janak. Hans uncle was my fua. So many years I spent my childhood at 7 Trailing Ridge in Brookfield, spending lots of time with Usha Fui Hans fua. But honestly, those times I don't remember as well as the times where we were editing essays together. I think I've told Vivek, Chintan, Sheila, Usha Fui, everyone knows these stories at this point. But the vast majority of the time that we spent together, and it's funny because I think my parents kind of spoiled me, you know what I mean? But they wouldn't tell me when I was like in school, weren't doing it as well. But then Hans Fua saw a score of mine. It was called like the SCAT to get into CTY. He was like, hey, you might have to get that up a little bit. And he was very positive about it. But then he actually helped me out and, helped me out get essays up and everything. So I just wanted to share one essay that I remember very, very fondly, like writing together with him. And this is on creating the ideal school. So a couple points I wanted to take from that. Here's a few things that maybe you guys could take from how Hans Fua thought of the ideal school. I kind of let him drive this essay because he had a lot of ideas. How can we improve the general education system? So here's a couple of things, and a couple of things. So here's a couple of things that he wanted out of this. One, he was saying that 4 years, graduating at 18, wasn't necessary. Like, you don't need to necessarily graduate 18. You want to finish what you want to learn. And whereas, like, we all study math, science, history, etc. He said that's key, but then also, and this academy he wanted to call a friendship academy when we wrote this essay. So you can hear that he's very deep into friendship and things like that. And so yeah, you don't need 4 years. And I think Usha Fui was giving me a story when I told her about this, that when she was doing Swadhyay, when he was kind of with Parkinson's, she would never, and he was completely dependent on Usha Fui at that point. He would never stop her when it came to Swadhyay. So that kind of patience he had and that kind of love for learning that he had, he kind of also instilled or encouraged within Usha Fui and everyone else. And so along with those general subjects that I mentioned before, math, science, history, he said that we also need to take an extra amount of time doing, leadership training, and also a lot of work on, discovering ourselves. 14 to 18 is like one of those years, or even further, I guess, with Hans Fua, is one of those years where you kind of start discovering yourself. So he's saying those classes are also equally important. And yeah, and he was saying, yeah, so those kind of 3 things. So it's like you learn what you're supposed to learn, but then leadership and then learning how to be a real person and doing seva and other things like that were also equally important. So yeah, so that's really, what I learned from him is just like, how can we put ourselves in or like, what are our motivations when we're doing or learning something? And that's kind of something that Duncan, Sheila, and I, and Vivek and Chintan are all talking about. And yeah, that's all I had to share.
Thank you. We are Hans's children. Do you want to come up? And grandchildren. And we no longer have him to give us direct advice on love or on career. But what we do have is his stories. So we wanted to share with you in his gentle way. He was not one to command or preach. We wanted to share with you in his gentle way a few memories, each with a question. Please. So when Hans was a couple years older than my son, Sajan, he was growing up in Kutch. They lived on a 1.5 acre farm. And there was a invasion of locusts, of a certain kind of grasshopper, swarms of them coming to Kutch, and they threatened to destroy the entire harvest. They threatened to destroy the entire harvest that they had worked so hard for, which was their sustenance, which is what they depended on. And there was an insecticide that you could buy in the shop in the village. But what did Hans's dad say about that?
I don't want to do it because I don't want to kill insects.
There's a Jain belief that every living being has a soul. Every living being is worthy of reverence. And so instead of buying the insecticide, my grandfather, Chamshi, and Hans, they tied together some rope and some twine, and they ran up and down that field all day long. By the middle of the day, the sun was hot. My dad was getting tired, exhausted. His auntie came, brought them lunch. They took a little break, and then they started running again. They ran up and down that field, and the idea was that the rope would shoo the insects away, shoo away the locusts rather than killing the locusts. They ran until after sunset, and in the end, they lost about a quarter of the harvest, not more. And the droppings that the locusts left made for a better harvest the following year. So Saji, what question comes up for you from that story?
How will we live our values?
Could you guys hear him? Say it again.
How will we live our values?
How are all of us going to live our values?
Jai Janendra. Not many harvests hence, a Jain Acharya visited the same farm and noticed a certain special boy with a particularly Shanti and Jnani nature. He proposed to him and his mother for him to take Jain Diksha and become a monk. At that time, his mother and Hansraj decided not to pursue that path. Many years later, as he would recall almost becoming a Jain monk with tears in his eyes, he explained and articulated his lifelong commitment to Jain darshan and dharma, and how he had no regret nor sadness for the path that he took. Sometimes in our lives, we ask ourselves what might have been, or what if? And in those moments, perhaps we may remember Hans Uncle's relationship to Jain Dharma, and may he guide us in answering those questions. Thank you.
In my whole childhood, I remember only a handful of times when Dad got angry with me. Only when I crossed a line of moral compromise could we shake his peace. I was playing with Vivek, and he outsmarted me. He convinced me to make a deal in his favor, and he won the game. My face burned, my heart raced, my stomach turned. "That's not fair, V," I shouted, hot tears wetted my face. In my rage, I found a painting that Viv had made of a tennis player, one I know he put work into and he was proud of. I made a small tear at the edge of the painting, ran into my room, and slammed the door. Under my pink floral comforter, I could hear the commotion outside my door. My dad came to the door and raised his voice. I knew that I had crossed the line. "Did you tear Vivek's painting? Why did you do that?" He didn't need to say more. Why did I destroy someone's art, someone's work, someone's property? No amount of anger or hurt justifies that behavior. I cried in my guilt and embarrassment for much of that afternoon. But that night, Dad came in softly, tenderly, and apologized to me for his own transgression of raising his voice while trying to teach me a lesson. When you find yourself in a conflict, take a moment to examine yourself. how have you behaved? How can you model the behavior you expect in others?
Long ago, before I had children, Duncan and Sheila made the questionable decision of leaving me alone with their 3-year-old twins, Anand and Umed, for a whole day. And luckily, I had Hansraj with me to help me babysit. And at first I thought it was going pretty well. You guys are playing, it was fine. And then Anand asked me for a bowl of yogurt. So I can make a bowl of yogurt. And then you asked me to put maple syrup and peanut butter in it. So I did that. And then you said, can you add some strawberry jam? I said, okay. And then you said, can you add some orange juice and some ketchup? And in my naivete of listening, thinking that 3-year-olds say what they mean, I mixed it all together. And he said, absolutely, I'm definitely going to eat it. And then when I presented it to you, what did you say?
Yeah, I'm not going to eat that. And Nana was always firm in his values of never wasting food. And so he literally dragged me across the room and told me, you have to sit at this table until you eat that yogurt. And Umaid was like, no, let my brother go. No. And I was screaming and I was crying. And amidst all this chaos, Nana sat down and he ate the entire bowl of yogurt soup. And so the question here is, we all have to eat yogurt soup sometimes in our lives. How do we find delight where others find none? Because at the end of that whole bowl of yogurt soup, my Nana said, it's really not that bad.
Okay.
Hey everyone. So Luca and I are gonna say our story together. It's a saga across about 7 years or 8 years. So about 7 years ago, my Nana, or Luca's Dada Baba, fell down the stairs and he broke his neck. After the accident, any physician would have told you Nana couldn't survive, and yet he did. Surrounded by loving family, bhakti, and friends, those were the medicine for his soul.
Moral of that story is never trust doctors. Anyways, okay. So a few years later, my dad Labapa, or his Nana, was very sick. He had Parkinson's, which is some disease. One day we went to the temple together, and we sang songs. And when we saw Dada Bapa couldn't sing, or his Nana, he bursted out with song. And the valuable question of that story is,
in like places where in our lives that we think are lacking something, how can we find more religiousness or spirituality in that and make it better?
Beautiful. And we would like to share a pandemic story, a COVID story. We were with our pod. Mom, Dad, Anand, Umaid had left New York City because Sheila and Duncan were on the front line. And so we went from a household of 2 to a household of 6 in a small DC row house. And at that time, my folks had already met Edwin, but we weren't really sure how my dad felt about the relationship because his speech at the time was quite weak. So we were huddled in this house, a bit unsure about how we were in this relationship together. And sometimes when he would speak so softly that we couldn't hear him, or he would speak in a way that was a bit of a garbled slur. But we had one quiet moment at the dining table a few months in, where it was me, Edwin, and Dad, and he looked at me, looked at Edwin intently, paused for a beat, and asked, "Will you get married?" And another pause. Commitment is more fun. And it was his gentle way of not only offering a blessing, but also expressing how he has always lived his life fully with family, with work, in the life. Yeah. And so the question is,
where in your life can you make a commitment so that things can be a little more fun?
we'd like to shake things up a little bit now because we know that there are dozens, hundreds of more stories in the room right now. And Edwin and Anand and Umaid have set up a bit of a recording booth a few doors down. And to jog your own memories of stories, fond memories you may have had with my dad, we'd like to, if you will entertain me in this game, it might get noisy, but find somebody in this room close to you, but that you don't know particularly well, and share some memories together. And we're hoping that in collecting those, you'll join us in this little memory booth across the dining hall later tonight during dinner, and maybe record some of those or put them on the online Kudo board. And then after that, we're gonna have a few friends share a few more memories to everyone. So I think we've got a timer and we're gonna do it for actually just, 5 minutes. Thank you. Yeah, find somebody you don't know too well. One other person, a pair. All right, I hope that was fun. Please take your seats. We got a few more minutes to go. Is that okay? Okay, please take your seats. Please take your seats. Yeah. Please have a seat. Please have a seat. Yeah. Can you guys sit down? Beso, beso. भाइयों और बहनों, बैसी जाओ. Beso, beso. Beso, thank you. Beso, beso, yeah. So the next person that we want to call, I hope that was meaningful. I hope you're able to connect with someone. The next person we want to call is Premaji, who cared for my father for years, for years.
She's saying 6 years.
हेलो नमस्ते सबैजना मैं हंसराज मारू मेरे प्यारे भाई साहब को केयर गिवर हूँ। मैं भाई साहब को 6 साल से केयर कर रही हूँ। आज मैंने प्यारा भाई को खिलाते खिलाते केयर करते करते मैंने गुमाया हूँ। मेरा आंखों के सामने मैंने छूते छूते गुमाया हूँ। बुलाते बुलाते मैंने गुमाया हूँ। मुझे बहुत दर्द की बात है, बहुत दर्द की बात है। मैं कुछ सहन कर नहीं पा रही हूँ। हर समय में मेरे भाई को याद आता है। मैं भाई साहब को केयर करने में मैं बड़े लोगों को केयर नहीं करी थी, तो उषा जी ने मेरे को सब कुछ सिखाया है। उनको केयर करने को सब कुछ सिखाया मेरा उषा जी ने। उषा जी मेरा अभिभावक है, मेरी माँ की तरह है। भाई साहब और सब मेरे मारू फैमिली ने मुझे इज्जत दिया, प्यार दिया, सब कुछ दिया, सेवा करने मौका दिया, सेवा किया मैंने अच्छे से। और भाई साहब बहुत अच्छे थे, सब अच्छे हैं। मारू फैमिली और उनका सब रिलेटिव सब जो जहाँ से आए हो सब अच्छे हो। और धनकन जी बहुत ही अच्छे दामाद है। जो धनकन जी जैसा हर किसी को नहीं मिलता, ऐसा दामाद जो हर वक्त उनका सेवा करे। धनकन इज बेस्ट। हंसराज मारू के लिए धनकन जी को भगवान ने भेजा, एक गॉड गिफ्ट है। हर समय उन्होंने सेवा किया है। भाई साहब को है सब कुछ, बेटा बेटा है, ऐसा नहीं है बेटा लोग बेटी लोग नहीं किए, सबने किया है। लेकिन मैंने आंखों से देखा धनकन जी ने बहुत बहुत किया है। ऐसा दामाद भाई साहब भी बहुत किस्मत वाले थे, बहुत किस्मत वाले थे जो धनकन जैसा दामाद मिले। जो हर किसी को ऐसा दामाद नहीं मिलता, जो किस्मत वाला है उसी को मिलता है। भाई साहब आप जहाँ भी हो, जैसी भी हो, मुझे लगता है आप अच्छे थे, अच्छे जगह में हो, अच्छे जन्म में अच्छा पुनर्जन्म लिए हो, मुझे विश्वास है। मैं आपका प्यारी बहना हूँ। मैं आपका प्यारा बहनी हूँ भाई साहब। मैं सदा सदा के लिए मैं आपका बहना रहूंगी भाई साहब। जय जिनेंद्र।
Thank you, Remaji, and many caregivers that my dad was fortunate to have. Navin uncle, please.
Hi, my name is Naveen Chera. Some 70 years ago, 70, when I was in the 5th grade in Nawavas in Kutch, I first met Hans Maru, who had just joined the 4th grade in Nawavas Jain boarding. Other than the family members, perhaps I have the privilege to know him for the longest period. Since then, while we were pursuing our individual dreams and goals, our paths kept on converging. We both spent our high school years studying and staying at the Jain boarding in Matunga, Mumbai. Later on, while attending different colleges, we stayed at Mavijan Vidyalaya at Goalia Tank in Mumbai. For graduate studies, I came to Philadelphia in late 1967. 1 year later, Hans came to study at IIT in Chicago. The CPA firm where I had my first job in New York City sent me for a 2-week training to their headquarters in Chicago. Over the weekend, I met Hans, and he told me that I'll be happy to know that he had arranged for a home-cooked dinner, and we were going to go one Kutchi family's home who lived nearby. Little did I know that besides a nice, delicious meal, that visit would have a monumental impact on my life. Hema Ben and Lalit Bhai, who are not here today, were gracious hosts. Besides the nice meal that Hema Ben had prepared, we had a great conversation. And unknown to me, looks like I created a very good positive impression on Hema Ben and Lalit Bhai. That contact a year later led me to marrying Hema Ben's younger sister, Vimla, my dear wife of 53 years. And for that, I am eternally grateful to Hans. While living and working in Stamford, Connecticut, one day I got a call from Hans, and he was inquiring how far was Danbury from our house. I said 30 minutes, 40 minutes traffic. He interviewed, he stayed with us for a couple of days, went for interview, and got a job offer from energy research company. With that, the Maru family also moved to Connecticut, just 30 minutes from our house. The proximity and the similar ages of our children, Neil and Vivek, Monica and Sheila, led to spending many weekends together doing various children's activities. The parking lot of People's Bank at the junction of Route 59 and 25 in Monroe was a regular transit point to exchange the kids. As children were growing up, we were concerned about introducing them to Jain religion and the Indian culture. That discussion and a visit to a newly arrived Jain monk from India, Sushil Kumar Maharaj, in Westport, Connecticut, led to the formation of an informal Jain group, which later on became formally recognized as the Jain Center of Connecticut. When our children were grown up and later getting married, Hans performed the Jain ceremony for Neil's wedding. When it was time for Monica's wedding, due to health reasons, Hans was planning retirement from performing such ceremonies. Hans, uncle, you cannot retire until you perform my wedding ceremony, Monica demanded. Hans and the pastor from Lions Church in Erie, Pennsylvania, jointly performed a wonderful ceremony. They got rare reviews from audience who had never attended Indian wedding ceremony. Through all these interactions, we came to know Hans as a true friend and a very compassionate human being. He was a true community leader who, with his calm demeanor and a soft voice, got everyone's attention and respect. We are sure that his soul has gone to a better place, and we pray for his eternal peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Naveen uncle. I am now calling my cousins, Hans's nieces and nephews.
Jai Jinendra. I am Preeti. I am Hans uncle's brother, Jayanti Bhai's daughter. We are all gathered here today to pay tribute to the remarkable person we all fondly call Hans uncle. To say that he has touched all of our lives in some significant way would be an understatement. To say the least, I can say that Hans uncle was our pillar, our guiding light, and our godfather. Even though his void can never be filled, his smile, his eyes filled with love and care for everyone, his presence will always be felt around us. As our offering to the program, we all nieces and nephews of Hans uncle felt that what better way to give tribute to the person who loved music and dance so much than to sing one of his favorite songs. This Kutchi song is called Dhui Dhui Dhalde Ke Chandar Banayu. Many of you may be familiar with this popular song. It has a very simple yet very powerful meaning. It simply says that let's cleanse our hearts to shine like the moon and make our homes as pure as a temple. Not only this song explains way of life, but also gives deep insight into how to look inward other than outward.
Hans uncle lived his life truest to this principle and much more. Through his example, we all aspire to inherit these qualities into our hearts and into our homes. Thank you. Here it goes.
दुई दुई दिल लड़के चंद्र बनायो दुई दुई दिल लड़के चंद्र बना हला पंज घर के पान मंदर बना हला पंज घर के पान मंदर बना दुई दुई दिल लड़के चंद्र बना मारा भजी भजी केतरो भजबो बारा भजी भजी केतरो भजबो पिंड जे घर तई कोई की पुजबो पिंड जे घर तई कोई की पुजबो दुनिया पाण पंहिंजी अंदर बनायूं दुनिया पाण पंहिंजी अंदर बनायूं दुई दुई दिल के चंद्र बनायूं डारा डरी डरी दुनिया भर जा डारा डरी डरी दुनिया भर जा भाल बनी व्या दोरा घर जा भाल बनी व्या दोरा घर जा पिंड जो डरियला जंदर बना पिंड जो डरियला जंदर बनायूं दुई दुई दिल के चंद्र बनायूं हकड़ा भले ने बीजा पुठावे हकड़ा भले ने बीजा पुठावे दिल जित दिल नो दार वठावे दिल जित दिल नो दार वठावे दिल के संदीने संगर बना दिल के संदीने पान संगर बनायूं दुई दुई दिल के चंद्र बनायूं मोहब्बत दिल में मुठ खनरौंदी मोहब्बत दिल में मुठ खनरौंदी पोखींदे सौ उठ खंड थींदी पोखींदे सौ उठ खंड थींदी दरिया विच पाण बंदर बनायूं दरिया विच पाण बंदर बनायूं दुई दुई दिल के चंद्र बनायूं दुई दुई दिल के चंद्र बनायूं हलो पंज घर के पान मंदर बनायूं दुई दुई घर के पान मंदर बनायूं दुई दुई दिल के चंद्र बनायूं
जय जिनेंद्र
Thank you, guys. That was one of my dad's all-time favorite songs. That means a lot. We have one last song before we close from Badrabai.
હંસલા હાલો ની હવે મોતીડા નહીં રે મળે હંસલા હાલો ની હવે મોતીડા નહીં રે મળે આ તો ઝાંઝર પાણી આશા જૂઠી રે બંધાણી મોતીડા નહીં રે મળે હંસલા હાલો ને હવે મોતીડા નહીં રે મળે રાગ દ્વેષ મોહ કેરી પ્રીતિઓ છોડી ખાલી આત્મા સાથે સંગત જોડી મોતીડા નહીં રે મળે હંસલા હાલો ને હવે મોતીડા નહીં રે મળે આ તો ઝાંઝવાના પાણી આશા જૂઠી રે બંધાણી મોતીડા નહીં રે મળે હંસલા હાલો ને હવે મોતીડા નહીં રે મળે ધીરે ધીરે પ્રીતિ કેરો પિંજણો જાણો રામ ખોપાણી ઘૂંઘટે તાણ્યો વાયરો વાયો રે ભલે માટી માટીને મળે મોતીડા નહીં રે મળે હંસલા હાલો ને હવે મોતીડા નહીં રે મળે હંસલા હાલો ને હવે
Very well, Bhadravai. Thank you. Abhar. I just want to close by saying Michami Dukaram to every one of you and to thank you for sharing this moment, this transition with all of us. It was sunny when we walked in here. The sun was shining when we walked in here. The rain has come. The lights came on and off. You helped us fill this space with his presence. And I just want to thank you for sharing in that moment with us. We're going to try to carry on his legacy. I would like to try to carry on this man's legacy. And I thank all of you for helping us to do so, for helping us to carry on his legacy. And we're going to close finally with one of his favorite prayers.
If you could join me in this one. It's Shanti Bhat, many of you know. So for 9 times, we'll repeat an extended Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And please bring your full diaphragms, your arms, your bodies with it. And take a breath first. Yes. It means Shanti, Shanti, Shanti is peace. And extending over these 9 times, beginning from within you to our loved ones and to our broader community and the planet. Oh. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Final one. Yogi Shankar, you have something? If there are plenty of more stories, and I think hands raised to share, we'd love to hear them. There's a recording booth. Raise your hand. It's Anand, Edwin, Umaid. Find them across the dining hall. They've set up a special space, some art materials as well as some crafts to record the remembrances. So thank you so much, and we'll be having dinner just down the hall. Thank you.